Dear Kenzie, so this week I traveled for a weekend to Gangneung, which is a region in eastern South Korea. I Southeastern Korea. Anyway, look it up on a map. But for that, you'll need to know how to spell it. So I'll put the name of Gangneung right here, so you know how to spell it. I traveled there together with Jordan from Canada, Colin and Ari from the United States, Tabai and Isabella from Brazil, Stefan from Germany, Stein from the Netherlands, and Kurumi from Japan. There are tons of really pretty temples inland in the city of Gangneung, and when you went to the beach area, which is sort of a smaller separated section of the city, you get to this strip of just restaurants and hotels.
It's just that I'm afraid I'll slide under that spell again. Taken for a fool. Yes, I was, because I was a fool.
Our hotel is something that I have never tried before. It's what's called a capsule hotel. A lot of people who traveled in Asia probably know about this. I did not. So basically, it's a hotel and your room is just the size of a single person bed. You have a little bit of space next to the bed, next to your mattress, where you can put your stuff, your backpack, you know, whatever you're carrying. And then you have a tiny desk where you can, you know, charge your phone. Here's a little video about what that looks like.
It's just that I'm afraid I'll slide under that spell again. The way we...
So even though it was both windy and rainy, that didn't halt us from walking around, looking at beautiful temples, going to the beach for an entire day, jumping in the water, and visiting some of the construction sites for the upcoming 2018 Winter Olympics. These upcoming facilities mostly, as I understand it, have to do with indoor winter sports of the 2018 Olympics, but it was nonetheless super exciting to go and see the scale of these construction sites.
Why didn't you tell? Why didn't I know? Landscapes blurred by rain, mountains covered in snow. Why didn't I see the forest on fire behind the trees?
So out of all of those memories that I have from this past weekend, the most memorable, I think, has to be some of those one-on-one conversations that I have with people throughout a trip like that. And Kenzie, you know how I am notoriously poor at keeping up a conversation and engaging with a conversation that includes much more than two people. So that's what this video today is going to be about. Why I think that these one-on-one conversations that I've had remain in my memory the most. So thinking about this, I think maybe it's not the specific content of this conversation that makes it stick in my memory, but more so the type of content that was in that conversation. Maybe the form of the conversation. What do I really mean when I say the type of content of a conversation? I think what I mean is there are different ways of shaping your response when you're in a conversation with someone. Two typical ones, I think, is a response that seeks to just respond, or a response that seeks to further deepen the conversation or to understand the other person that you're conversing with. And I think that type of content that is generated from seeking to understand rather than to just respond creates a much more meaningful conversation, a much more memorable conversation. That's the reason why that just had such a big impact on me, because it seemed like both me and this other person asked genuine questions rooted in things that we remembered about each other from earlier on this experience. And you'd think that as an exchange student, you'd have plenty of conversations where you'd have the opportunity to revisit memories about one another. But in fact, what a lot of conversations turn out to be about is your cultural differences and just how one foreign custom is weird in your eyes because in my country we do X and here we do Y. And while that's totally fine and interesting to hear about others and to also share my own and to remark on how my culture might be different from the one here in Seoul, for example, I also think that it's important to not let the conversation be a runaway repetition of differences between countries in that scenario. So coming back to my reflection on seeking to understand rather than seeking to respond when you engage with conversation, I think that what I've learned over the course of this past week is that if I want people to understand me both personally and intellectually when I engage in dialogue, then I need to also lend an ear to their ideas. Why am I spending so much time talking about this? Well, because it's so easy to forget about listening to understand the people that I surround myself with when there's so much other stuff going on, when, like me, you're out scavenging for food in the night, and you might be frustrated due to many different external factors and challenges you're facing because you decided to travel across not only geographical lines, but also cultural lines. Kenzie, as I've expressed before in this vlog, as an exchange student, I'm bound to meet my challenges. And so I expect the experience of my fellow exchange students to be equally as complex. But maybe we can minimize that complexity by remembering our progress and our improvements. As always, thank you for letting me be yours, Daniel.